Hey, what is going on, everybody? So I am making a video about my top 4 things about corporate America that need to improve the relationships between an employer and an employee, okay? I myself worked in corporate America pretty much my entire life, and I recently decided to leave corporate America and try my shot at entrepreneurship. And I have to be honest, I haven't looked back. I enjoy being an entrepreneur, working for myself. For my goals and the way that I work, it's better for me, okay? So before I get into it, this video is not for anyone who loves their job or they love their manager or have a good environment. If you have those things, this video does not apply to you. This video is for a company that has corrupt management, full of politics, and a toxic culture. That's who I'm making this video for. If you're one of those type of organizations, then I'm making this video for you and the employees that work for you, so that way my voice can be heard and hopefully shed some light and bridge that gap. All right, so let's jump into it. Number 1 thing that they can improve, the appraisal process. If you don't know what an appraisal is, it's basically where a supervisor waits like once a year, and every company varies. They might have twice a year or once a quarter, but most of them do once a year. And then they critique this employees and they turn it into the upper management who finalizes and signs off. The crazy thing about it is it goes through so many parties. The only person who really knows these employees the best is the direct manager of those employees on the ground level. Anyone outside of that, your opinion really does not have any validation because you're not on the ground level. You don't come down and see these people working on the force. You have not contributed to helping them. You have not did like what an undercover boss would do on that TV show, get in the ground level, get in the field and see what they go through. The only thing you do is get these papers at the end of the year. Once a year, you go down and check these little boxes, and then you get mad if somebody gets an exemplary rating, like you can't have a really, really good worker. It's crazy to me. If you already got in your mind nobody can be exemplary, then why have an appraisal process? What's the point of going above and beyond the extra mile if an employee can't get a high grade? It's crazy. So they need to restructure that appraisal process. If you're going to do it, then be effective. That way that most organizations do it is totally ineffective, and it's really not, you know, helping the employee be better, in my humble opinion, because I used to be a manager and I've seen it. It's ineffective. Another thing is the interviewing process. You guys, in corporate America, it's very common if you reject an applicant, you send them an automated email saying like, hey, we looked at your application, it was good, but we decided to move forward in the process. Well, the funny thing about that is a lot of the times you're moving forward because you feel like someone's either overqualified or they're underqualified, but you don't really give no explanation as to each. But yet, when you bring these people into interview that you like, you know, you want them to give all the information about themselves. And sometimes you set up questions that kind of trick them and they're not really prepared for it. And they have to go through this, you know, experience with it. So here's the thing. If you're going to do interviews, make sure you interview the person, you know, from an unbiased perspective. We all know that these are human beings interviewing another human being. And no matter what type of criteria the job requires, there are a lot of people who hire people just because they know them, or there are a lot of people who hire people just because of the way that they fit some kind of look. Like, in other words, they find things that have nothing to do with just strictly the qualifications, you know? So I just find that you got to be careful, because a lot of these interviews select people that aren't good candidates because they have somebody who's not a good evaluator. And that person really does not get measured on the evaluation. As long as they fill the job and they're coming to work doing the bare minimum, it seems, then they've done their job. And it's crazy. This is why you got a lot of disgruntled employees in corporate America, because you have poor evaluators who are in positions to hire people. Got to fix that. Another thing is, let's see what I got here. Oh yeah. Employers love to do this. They love to have you leave a 2-week notice when you resign, but yet they won't give you advance notice when they lay you off. Backwards. If you have an employee that's good and doing their thing, or even if they're not good, the principle of the job telling the employee, hey, you got to leave a 2 weeks notice or else you're not eligible for rehire, but you can just lay them off whenever, it's crazy. You don't give them no explanation. You just show up to work and all of a sudden your job is going to be eliminated. You have 90 days to find a new job, or they'll assign you to a new job in 90 days or whatever. I just think that's crazy. You know, got to do a little bit better. And the last thing I'm going to say, there's so much I can go on. I'm going to try to keep it short. Exit interviews. If you're an employee, understand your rights. You don't have to do an exit interview. Now, every company varies in their policies, but majority of companies that I've worked at have not required you to do an exit interview. It is your right to turn it down. And honestly, the reason why exit interviews, to me, the structure that they're in, I'm not going to say these exit interviews are pointless, but the way they're presented, I think it needs to be improved, okay? All the tips that I made are improvement ideas. I'm not saying they're pointless or they don't do anything, but they need to be improved, okay? That's my intent in making this video. Exit interview. Why wait till an employee resigns to ask them how they feel about the job and what can be improved? You should have asked the employee the moment they were hired and kept in touch with them, you know, like once a month and see how are things going. That would be nice, but you don't. You just hire them, they work this job, and all of a sudden they put in their 2 weeks. Now you care about how they feel and why they're resigning. A little bit too late. Got to work on that. But hey, if that's how you operate, then it should be no surprise in why you have such a high turnover, because you're doing things that the format just does not make any sense. So I hope this video helps. I hope corporate America betters the relationship with the employees, because a lot of people are leaving for simple reasons like this. And basically, all the employees want to do is just feel valued. You know, that's it. And if you're an employer, if you're in a hiring position or upper management position, it would not hurt if you every now and then just come down and check on your employees and say, hey, how's your day going? If you're not going to pay them, you know, within the pay grade at the top of it, if you're not going to do a lot of other things or help give them a raise, at the least, just show some respect, right? Just show some value. And it doesn't take a lot to do that. So I hope this video helps bridge some of that gap. But if you're in a situation where you have that toxic culture and you don't feel valued, make that switch. Even if you don't want to be an entrepreneur, then get a better job with a better culture. Do it. It's not worth your health and your mental health. I'm telling you. Do not let these corporate jobs make you feel boxed in. You can do it. All right. Hope this video helps. Have an amazing, blessed evening.